Hey folks, I'm Chris and I'm your Commander Mechanic, and welcome to another Commander Roundtable. I'm joined by this fantastic panel of guests, and we're going to be talking everything Commander Masters tonight. First of all, thank you all for coming out. This is in support of the Trevor Project. Make sure that you hit command donate in chat and donate in increments of $5 to be entered into our draws for some incredible prizes at the end of the night, ranging from Commander Masters precons through to Infinitokens prize packs. We've already raised over $200 and we are just going live right now, if you can believe it.
We should waste more. Like, we should go later. Like, keep starting later and later and see if that number.
Yeah, see if we can hit the first milestone before we go live next time.
Yeah.
We are also going to be taking questions by the end of the night. So I want to remind everybody that you can redeem the highlight questions point redemption in Twitch chat in order to make sure we can see your questions. That way, at the end of the night, we'll be able to get to them all. Clay has shown us a great example of that right now. All right, and without further ado, I want to make sure that we go around the table so you know who these fantastic people are. We're going to start with Angelo. Angelo, thank you for coming out.
Of course.
Please tell us who you are, where we can find you, and let us know, do you like fancy versions of your commander in the command zone?
Yes. Hi. Hello. I'm Angelo. I write for EDH Rec. I'm a mod for the EDH Recast Discord. And I'm on Twitter making a general nuisance of myself. And yes, I love fancy commanders in my command zone. I actually only play with foil ones when possible. If there's a foil version of a commander, I will have the foil version. I will not play the non-foil version. And with all the brand new ones coming out, all the new treatments, it's even better. I love it.
Easier than ever to get a fancy version then. All right. And welcome back to the panel, Chase. Please let us know who you are, where we can find you, and how fancy do you like your commanders?
Hello. My name is Chase, also known as Manacurves. You can find me literally anywhere under Manacurves, LinkedIn, Squarespace, Napster, LimeWire, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I do indeed like fancy versions of my commanders. I especially like the new treatment that we have, and I like making my commander as blingy as possible. And then if they don't come in a foil, I like to put them in a special sleeve that gives them a little gilded edge that I quite like.
Very nice. Very nice. Welcome to the panel for the first time, our guest Shivam. Welcome. Please let everybody in the audience know who you are, where we can find you, and how fancy do you like your commanders?
Well, hello everyone. My name is Shivam. You can find me at Gears on Twitter, or you can look me up really anywhere. I'm very easy to find on Mastodon and Blue Sky and other Twitter. And I have a handful of podcasts, Casual Magic and Shivam Wheeler Love Magic. You can see behind me, there's a cover that's been embroidered of my podcast that's hanging on my wall. And I'm on the CAG and I'm on the I don't know. Everybody knows who I am. I don't need to introduce myself. I'm literally the Indian guy in Magic. There's maybe a handful of us, and everybody knows who we are. But the question was about fancy commanders, and my goodness, do I love me a fancy commander. My Prime deck, Tajik, has a 3D, like a full 3D diorama that's inside of a hard plastic case that never comes out of the plastic case because a lot of little bits in there that can get lost. Every other commander I have has some weirdo treatment that has been done to it to the best of my ability. If it hasn't been an official WotC treatment, like, Grimgrin just got the cool alt frame, but then also the side frame version, which now I need to decide between those two. Mm-hmm. But then also, like for instance, Hapatra doesn't have an alt frame yet, so I stuck her in an altered sleeve that gives it a full art one. My Tuvasa doesn't have an alt frame yet, so I got an altered version of it painted, etc., etc. It's just like if I can have my commander stand out in some utterly obnoxious way, I absolutely will.
Gotta love it. Love that approach. And then our final member of the panel, as always, could not do this without my partner in crime, the Claybee. Clay, why don't you let us know who you are, where we can find you, and do you like fancy versions of your commanders?
Yeah, hi friends. I'm Claybee. I'm the C&C Power Hour representative on these things. Me/us. Under normal times, we've streamed all kinds of virtual EDH, basically every format of Magic, all of the like pre-constructed stuff, and we do these roundtables every time a set comes out. As for me, you can find the link tree or the bio link or whatever is in the chat if you want to find me. But if you search Claybee, you'll find me anywhere and everywhere. But as far as the question, I just like everybody else, I absolutely love a special looking commander. And at this point now, it's becoming like a thing or an obsession that every deck has a different like pre or promo treatment, right? Like it's not using the same kind for any of them. And I like to try to avoid like having any other cards in the deck that have that treatment, you know?
Right.
So like the most recent one is Ovika. So I got the black and white ink style. That's the foil, and it's just that one. And it looks awesome, and it's super cool. And the other important part is the like premium tokens or like custom tokens, so that like the commander and the tokens get to be super weird or super different, super unique.
Can I interrupt you right now and give my one biggest pet peeve in all of Magic?
Yes.
Sure.
The thing that really just makes me angry and grinds all my gears and just makes me furious. Back in Kaladesh, we had the inventions, the most amazing frame, the most beautiful alt art there is. And one of the cards in the invention set was Worm Coil Engine, one of the greatest cards of all time. Of course, you want the invention frame of that. They did not make invention tokens of Worm Coil Engine. So when Wormy breaks up, you have to use the dumb, stupid old tokens. It is offensive to me that they would put out a thing that breaks into 2 tokens and not give you the goddamn token to go with it.
Shivam's like, I don't want your peasant tokens. I want my fancy one.
If I'm going to have the fancy card,
where those would have been though.
If they like trying to get
expensive
as
the tokens.
I would have spent money.
Yeah. Amazing. I am of the opinion the same way with my commander as I am with my lands, and that is I want them looking as distinct to everything else in my deck as possible. I don't want my lands looking like Magic cards. I don't want my commanders looking like Magic cards. Give me alternate treatments, alternate frames.
Make them look like animated cereal boxes.
Exactly. Love to see it. I love those different versions.
At Command Fest Indy, this most recent one, sitting down during Lord of the Rings Limited, I sit down and start playing the game, and my opponent looks across the board and is like, is your entire deck mismatching full art basics? And I'm like, yes.
Love it.
I was like, I brought 25 different of each of the 5 lands for this specific purpose, and none of the arts are the same.
The fact that there are enough full art basics that you can get away with that is funny as hell.
It was wild. But yeah, no, my opponent was like, normally I would be so tilted, but I'm just impressed.
Absolutely. And I big shout out to everybody in chat. We have already reached our first donation goal. We are the first question in tonight, and we've reached our first donation goal. This means that we are going to be giving away a Commander Masters Precon tonight. When we reach our next goal, which we should be updating shortly, we'll be giving away another one too. So please continue to donate in $5 increments to be entered into the draw for these prizes. Thank you, Crab Baskets, The Real Gunjack, Joel. Thank you all, everybody out there who has donated so far. This is always incredible, and you are supporting a great cause. Thank you. All right, so next up for everybody, this is yet another Masters set. While arguably every Masters set is for Commander being an eternal format, this is the first one that is distinctly for Commander as a set. How do each of you feel about master sets in general, even without going into the Commander aspect of this at all? Are reprint sets something that us as enfranchised Magic players appreciate seeing? Chase, why don't we send it over to you first?
Yeah. I have always liked reprint sets. I think they're really phenomenal to kind of get expensive cards into the hands of players that might not have been around for their initial printings. There are a lot of cards that in the past I had wanted, but to me, in my mind, were unobtainable because I never played Magic around that time, and they have since skyrocketed in price and popularity. And so for me, master sets were my ability to, get my grubby little fingers on something that I had once coveted. And an example of this set, like for me, the medallions were something of that for me. Medallions were very expensive, and I wanted the pretty, modern frame, and those were very expensive. And that's like a good example of like something that to me was like, once in a blue moon. If I get lucky, or if I have a little bit of expendable money, I'll maybe pick up a little bit one. And now it's like, yay, this is something that's readily available to me. So I think they are phenomenal.
Fantastic. Shivam, I could see you nodding along. Is this something you agree with?
So I actually have a very different take on Masters. I mean, first off, I think it's phenomenal to reprint hyper expensive chase cards everybody wants. Your doubling seasons, your Tarmogoyfs, your, Lilianas, whatever. These are the cards that everybody looks at as the big ticket item cards for all these master sets. Like in this case, Jeweled Lotus, for instance, or whatever else, like the free spells, the free counter spells and the Deadly Rollicks and whatever that came out, the Ikoria precons. And one of the things I see a lot of is people are always like, oh yeah, I'm mad that they're including commons and uncommons and garbage and 10-cent cards in these things. And I have a very strong rebuttal. And part of the reason I think that master sets are fantastic as they exist right now is because of the fact that one of my things is that I always am resurfacing cards. I do Scryfall randoms where I just throw random cards up on Twitter all the time. And one of the big things for me is discovery. It is being able to stumble upon a card and sit there and say like, holy crap, this is amazing for my Radar Tribic deck or whatever the heck it is. And it's like the most like niche card from Masks block or whoever the hell block, whenever. And these are things that like old timers are like, oh, that card's only 5 cents. It's a bulk common. You can find it in every bin ever. Sure, you can find all these things all over the place. They cost less money than it costs you to send a stamp to Card Kingdom or whatever, right? It's not even worth shipping. There's so many of them. However, you know what? That 12-year-old kid who just bought that pack or who just stumbled upon that Scryfall random for the first time, literally never seen this card before, has no idea it exists. So you know what? One of the things I love about these, so I just opened up a random Commander Masters pack because I was just sitting here idly. And one of the things I was looking through was I was looking through the commons and uncommons. And one thing that, like I've been saying, the most important thing to me is specifically not only discovery, but availability and putting it directly in the hands of somebody, which is to say, yes, I can go get a Kirtar's Wrath, the Threshold Wrath of God that came out a million years ago. I can get that for like a dime, a quarter, whatever. Like I could wallpaper my house with all the commons that are out there. However, I don't own one. I've been playing for 30 years. I've never seen this card before I open this pack right now. And what it means is that by putting it in a pack, you are giving discoverability and you are giving the right for a person who buys that pack to stumble upon this card and see it and be like sparked and have their imagination wake up and say like, look, here's a card that's like for instance, one of the other cards in here is one of my favorite cards ever.
Shivam, we'll expand on this on a further question as well.
God, podcaster, sorry. Yeah, anyway, that's the point.
It's all good.
The point is, I love that Masters give you discovery. Also, that they reprinted All That Glitters, which is like the best card.
Awesome. Angelo, how about your opinions on Master sets in general?
So I like Master sets a lot. And the thing that I like about them is that they're always good and they trick people into thinking that they're never going to be good. I had made a post about this a while back. It's never going to be worth it to go out and buy sealed product of like master sets, because yes, there are chase cards in there that you're going to want, but the way that prices and market move, you're not going to make your money back. But you shouldn't be buying these things to make your money back. You're either going to be buying a sealed product to enjoy it in some kind of way, or if you're looking to save money, you'll be buying singles. And if that's what you're doing, if you're looking to buy singles when they drop, and they drop a lot, then you don't even need to worry about sealed product. And master sets are great. When Double Masters came out, I was able to get foil Teferi's protections for like $20. I was able to get Smothering Tides for 15. Like all the cards that are getting reprinted in these sets, and there are a lot. There is a ton of value in this set. Just wait till it gets released, and then you can get all of the staples that you're looking for, and then everyone wins.
Absolutely. Great points. Clay, how do you feel about master sets in general? Are reprint sets healthy?
I think reprint sets are definitely healthy. I think that, just like everyone has said, just returning access to those cards, whether or not they're expensive or they're cheap, there's always a lot of fun, getting them back into circulation, and then B, like getting to interact with those cards maybe for the first time, like going through the Commander Master spoilers for tonight. Like there are cards that I had to remind myself were reprints, because I'm like, oh, I've never seen this card before. I can't believe they're printing. Oh, wait, hold on. Every card has already existed. So then you get to click on the card and be like, okay, what set was this originally from? As far as like master sets, for a long time, like I never really interacted with them. They were just kind of were at a price point that it was like beyond what I was putting into Magic at that point. Commander Masters as a sealed product, like to buying box, stuff like that, is in that same boat. It's something that's beyond my budget. But master sets are some of the most fun limited experiences. And like I typically am not a big fan of limited, but like last year's Gen Con for Gen Con Double Masters, I had the absolutely wild experience of sitting down for a draft, and pack gets handed to me. My pack 2, I am looking at the like altar or foil alt art Sensei's Divining Top and a Teferi's Protection are still in the pack. The person who has handed it to me has taken 2 other cards, and I'm going, I don't be that person that's like, what did you take? But what did you, and then like, I'm losing my mind, and I'm like, I almost made a joke to the judge about like, can I put one of my cards back? Or like, can I take 2 from this one and then just like skip a pick, like a conspiracy style thing, because like, I did actually end up though, I think it should be, Chris knew which one I picked.
Ooh, looking nice.
Beautiful.
And so like, stuff like that, when you sit down and play against people, what the things that people are able to do are super ridiculous and fun. And it's just a good experience, I think. And the nice thing is that because it's, just eternal, that it makes cards more accessible, but it's not something that you have to purchase to feel like you're keeping up, especially because of the fact that there are all reprints. If there's new cards and you're like, I want this new card, but if it's something that like, okay, that has existed, I'm cool.
And that is something that we do have another question that we are going to talk about, the availability of some of these too. But in my opinion, some of these master sets are fantastic because they give us the opportunity to get versions of cards that we've never seen before as well. I know a lot of people gripe about this being a master set in a limited environment and including commons and uncommons in this reprint set. Hey, a reprint set should be all bombs all the time. I'm happy that I can now get my hands on a foil Felwar Stone for the first time for less than $250 at this point. So I'm very happy with that. We've got a couple of you that want to interject here. Shivam, did you have something to say in response to this?
I'm good.
Okay. Angelo.
Something I was going to say is when I had started was around the time that the first Master set came out, or well, the Modern Masters, the first Modern Masters. And back then, the packs were still expensive like they are now. But one thing that I think that they've improved upon a lot to make the idea of commons and uncommons feel a little less bad in your packs, because I do think that the sets should be draftable, is getting the guaranteed 2 rares. And that goes a long way, at least to me, in either being able to include more rares in general into the set, but also if one of your rares is a little junky, you get a second roll, and maybe you'll get a Smothering Tithe out of it.
Yeah, Chase.
Well, like when it comes to this set in particular, I understand like frustrations in terms of like commons and uncommons and stuff. However, for me, there's a lot of exciting commons and uncommons that are present within this set. One example being Exsanguinate. This is the first time we are getting a Exsanguinate printing that has a foil alternate option. The original foil for Exsanguinate, I think, is like $20. I think it's from Scars. And now it's been however many years, and we finally have another foil printing, because every other version of Exsanguinate was in the list or was in Jumpstart, which had no foil options. And so, I like sets like this because it allows people to get foils that they might not have access to or might not be able to afford. Cards that people would consider to be junky or still have value to a lot of other people, which I think is phenomenal. I'm really happy about that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I remembered. So what do you remember when the first Modern Masters came out, and like they had announced it, and they were like, "Look, we're putting Tarmogoyf in here, and we're putting some other like
Just
I don't know what the hell is that fairies thing, Bitter Blossom." Bitter Blossom was being reprinted. It was like a big deal, super huge, everything. And then they started revealing the cards for the previews, and the first preview they had was for a Spell Bomb, and it was like. Everybody's like, what the hell? Why would you put a Spell Bomb in here? And it's like, dude, not every card in the 15 is going to be Tarmogoyf, right? Like, you have to have some other cards. They have to, like, I don't know necessarily that it needs to be playable. If it's going to be playable, you need to make it priced at a playable price point. But if I still value them adding extra utility cards in these packs, because it's really, really important. Like, to have things that they're just utility cards we need. Things like Opal Palace or Drown in Sorrows, whatever, like random cards that just exist in Magic that you might not go out of your way to get, but you crack the pack hoping to get a Jeweled Lotus. Hey, guess what? You also got 14 utility cards that you're probably going to be using in a lot more decks than just a Jeweled Lotus.
Yeah, fantastic point. And you did bring up the premium price point on this as well. This is a master set, and these reprint sets do come at a higher price point. Do we feel that something like Commander Masters, as all of us being well versed in the format, do we feel that this set holds a kind of value that justifies a higher price point?
No.
Collectively, I see a few people shaking their heads. Angelo, Clay?
No, I think so.
Yeah, Clay?
Look at that smile. Look at that smile.
I think it's okay. It's not the end of the world or like a big issue. I think that it is at this price point. I don't know that it is like I would say justified. I think it is a little higher, especially with the fact that now that we have the different pack types and stuff, that the regular packs, while okay, sure, if master sets like these sets are going to be at a higher price point, I still think it should be a little lower, a little more if we're going to like keep going up the ladder with the collector boosters and then the set, and that stuff. I do anything that's too high. Like I said, though, my relationship with Magic has always been if like something is at that point, I'm just like, cool, that's not for me. That's not something that I can afford. So it is what it is.
So when it comes to master sets, this is a very frustrating thing for me because, I've never really purchased master sets before, because it just, the cards in there never really appealed to me. I wasn't interested in like Tarmogoyfs and like Jaces and stuff. That wasn't my area. So I was like, okay, cool. But I never really paid attention to the price point. So there is going to be a bit of grain of salt with this, and like maybe I'm misstepping. But when it comes to the cost of Commander Masters, I'm, really, really disheartened by that because, in my mind, reprint sets are supposed to make cards very easily accessible to people. And I'm very much in the throes of my LGS. I really have a good relationship with my LGS. I like to talk to people there. I like to talk to the owner there. And when it comes to cost, a lot of people there were like, I love this, but when I heard a lot of but, which was very disappointing to see. And the amount of product that my LGS was able to pre-order was actually significantly less because of how much it was going to cost them. And even with like pre-order stuff, typically when it pre-orders for sets, pre-orders typically kind of get snapped up once the first couple of previews start trickling down. And it took about twice as long for people to start pre-ordering product, which I also took note of. And, that to me is kind of a disheartening thing because, I want these reprints to be accessible. In my mind, that's what reprint sets should be. And like, yeah, we have some pretty good heavy hitters in here, like Great Henge and, Finale of Devastation, Avacyn, to name a few. Like, those are pretty heavy hitters. Those are pretty good cards. Even the free spells we talked about earlier. But, at the same time, it's like based on how much shops could buy, they may not necessarily have those singles for people to purchase. They might not have as many. They might have maybe one Fierce Guardianship, and maybe a ton of Felwar stones or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Shivam.
Yeah, so the gimmick of master set, the way that the math has historically worked is that people buy a bunch of them trying to hunt for their Tarmogoyf or hunt for their Liliana, whatever the chase card of the time is. And then they go and they sell all the other chaff, which obviously I'm a true believer in chaff. I don't like that word, but the chaff, they sell it back to the LGS or they sell it to other people or they put it in trade binders and trade it with kids and whatever. And I say kids because I'm 40, all my hair is white. You guys are all kids. But the point though is that like that the economy is supposed to work in the sense that you go, it's funded by whales who go and buy these big cards. Then they go and they disseminate the rest of the cards out to the community again. It's gross. It's not really like a nice way to think about it, but that's the way the economy of trading cards and like, games like this work. However, when you start pumping that price point more and more and more, before there is the dream that people have is like, oh, Modern Masters was $8 a pack instead of $4 a pack for a normal pack. That's a lot, but I can probably buy one or two, maybe throw it in the pile, maybe splurge once in a while and get a cool little pack. Like, when the collector edition boosters came out and they're like, ooh, that's $16, but there's a lot of foils in there. Okay, that's cool and cool. It's getting there. But there's a point where the audience will sit there and go like, the dream isn't there anymore because I can't physically afford these packs, even at the bottom tier. And then the whales are going to be looking at like, how many Jeweled Lotuses do I need to open in order to justify buying this box? And then they're going to buy that box and they're going to sell all those cards back and their cards are going to get inflated in price. And yeah, they'll get to an LGS or something. But instead of being the 25-cent Felwar stone that it should be, it's going to be like a $2.50 or a $5, an $8 Felwar foil or whatever it is, right? And it feels like the model that worked for previous Commander set and for previous Master sets won't work at this price point because it'll raise the floor for everybody.
Right.
And that's
no
not
longer
like the whole point is to depress the pricing.
Yeah. This should be a product that is meant to get people into the format and meant to encourage people to build.
I want to be careful about that. I wouldn't say that this is a thing meant to get people into the format because that's not true. This is not for people to get into the format. This is for people who are in the format and then want to take the cards they already have and then just throw them away and give them to people. That then helps their collection. But this is not meant for new kids. Like this is not.
It's definitely priced at a price point that isn't attractive to get people into the format. Something that is named Commander Masters should appeal to everybody, whether you're an enfranchised player or not.
Yeah.
And it's clear that at this price point that it just cannot appeal to somebody who is fresh to the format, especially if they want to come in and they want to do something like a fancy draft. This is a draft that's going to set you back for 3 packs as much as a normal pre-con for the format would. And when you are pricing the entry level for a draft at the same price or higher than the price of one of your precons, where somebody can get a fully fleshed out deck that they can sit down and play at a pod with, then you've kind of missed the point as to what this should be and what it should appeal to for different demographics of this format. Right. So with that being said, we spoke about it briefly, but in terms of getting new cards into the hands of people, this is something that is kind of a trickle down system, where you're going to have people that are buying boxes, selling back to the LGS. But as Chase mentioned, when LGSs are buying fewer of this and supply is a lot lower because the price point is much higher, is this actually going to do well in bringing down the prices of some of our staples?
Look what I just opened.
Jesus. Oh my God.
That's a big hit. Capture of Jing Zhao.
Sorry,
Nice.
I didn't mean to just derail you, but I was just like, hey, look.
All
Got a
good.
thing.
All good. Chase, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I want stuff like this to eventually find their ways into the hands of people. You know, I understand the concept of like trickling down very well. I have friends, you know, tell me that, you know, like they're whales and they will buy boxes and they'll sell back to their LGS because they got what they want and they're happy. With this, it's going to be, I think, a little up in the air. You know, talking with my LGS, they were saying that, you know, they think that they will get, you know, more singles to sell to people because of those kinds of customers who will sell back to them to bulk out their stock. But I don't know how well it's going to get to, you know, the hands of new players. I really don't know. And I wish I had a better answer to that, because like when we had something like Dominaria Remastered, we had some really heavy hitter reprints in there. I mean, we had like Force of Wills and another card that I can't remember, but you know, it was impressive. One of the tutors or whatever. And those eventually plummeted in price. But to my knowledge, I don't remember Dominaria Remastered being that hard to get your hands on or that expensive in comparison to Commander Masters. So with this, even though we both of them have really good heavy hitter reprints, I'm not sure if it'll trickle down, because people might be like, well, you know, I really want to keep this Grand Abolisher alternate art that I pulled because it's really cool and I only got one. So I'm not going to sell it, but I'll sell the other Grand Abolisher, you know, so and stuff like that. It's like, it's kind of like what you want, so to speak. It's at the mercy of people. So I really wish, I feel like, you know.
Yeah. Angelo, how do you feel? Is something like this going to succeed in getting cards into the hands of other players?
So I think so. We kind of have these discussions and these feelings every time a master set comes out. The only one that I can think of that was wholly positive was the most recent Double Masters. I don't really think anyone complained about that set. At least I don't remember. But then again, I also drafted it like 3 times because I was really excited about it. But at least with this set, you know, I'm looking at, you know, Goldfish right now, and I need to get 30 cards down before I see one card under $10. You know, like that to me is quite a bit of value. That's a lot of value in the rare and mythic slot. That's bound to drop, don't get me wrong, but that's also the point. We have this right now. We have all of these actual like chase rares that are elevated in price right now, whether it's scarcity or availability or anything else. They're going to drop. If it's due to scarcity, then prices will drop even harder because there's going to be more, and hopefully that will, you know, give you the proper amount of supply for demand. But then things like Smothering Tithe or even Doubling Season, not to sound cynical, the point, at least for WotC, isn't to make these cards $5. It's to get them to a stable price. That's why we're seeing Smothering Tithe and Doubling Season on the Eldraine sheets coming up as well. You know, they're not going to reprinting them to the point where they're not going to be able to make money off of that. And I think the point of these sets isn't necessarily to either get more people into the format or to even crater prices, but it's to stabilize prices. You can't have all of these cards being $30. You can have some being 15, you can have some being 30, you could have some being 20. I'm not a huge fan of the price point. I'm not arguing for that whatsoever. I have very strong opinions when it comes to the precons, but for the main set, I think personally, I think that it will do its job like other Masters sets will or have.
Yeah, we'll touch on the precons coming up next. But Clay, how do you feel about the set getting cards into the hands of people? Do you think that it's going to achieve not flooding the market, but driving up availability?
I think it will, but not as much as it could. I think it will get more cards out there, but the price point is always going to depress that a little bit. So you're going to, it will inevitably. I mean, like, unless they put it at like $1,000 a box, it's always going to a certain extent, get more cards out there, right? And just like one of the really cool things we talked about, the alternate treatments that we're getting and we've been getting, is that having so many versions of all of these cards now makes them having those cards more accessible, because now it's like, if there's the one printing of this legend that's really cool, and then that it's going to cost more. But if there's 3 different arts of this legendary creature in the same set, as people are opening it over and over again, it's going to drive those price points down. You're going to be able to get one. I don't think that it'll be as effective as a lot of folks would like, but I also don't know if that goal is realistic. But yeah, like really what Angelo said about making those price points more stable, so that we're not seeing $80 smothering, you know what I mean? Like making that 30 and I don't know if it will go down and then go back up, but having that many versions of these cards, and especially with different arts, I think is really going to make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing something like the Great Henge printed twice within the span of 3 months, fantastic to bring it down from the $80 price point that it was. Even if it drops down to 30, that's more than a 50% cut in price, which is fantastic to see. Shivam, your thoughts? Is this going to get cards into the hands of the people?
I think every master set historically, even the ones like Doubling Masters 2, which had just exorbitant price points, have had a net value drop on staples overall, enough to make cards that were prohibitively expensive into moderately expensive or even affordable. Like for instance, I just showed you Capture of Genghis, the Time Warp. Yeah, the Time Warp, right, from that set. And it's like, that card was $300 something from Three Kingdoms because it was printed once 30 years ago, right? Like, it's not because it's a Time Warp. Time Warp exists now. You can get it for $1. And I think this card's price is going to, like we saw the same thing with 3 Visits from whatever set that was reprinted in recently. 3 Visits was a card that was like a common that was priced at like $8 billion or something stupid. And when it came out in Baldur's Gate and in Commander Legends before that, it dropped to like $5, which is an entirely reasonable price for a very, very good natural order, very good rampant growth, right? Like, this is a good staple card that should exist, should be in the hands of people. And the reprint both kept the value of the original because it's the original, and it made it available to multiple people. And I think that we will see, even with the ridiculous price point that we mentioned earlier, we're going to see the grand scheme of things, a lot of these cards that were like $8 go down to like $4, or it may not be like the Jeweled Lotus might still be $350, but like all the glitters is going to be way cheaper. Like, that shouldn't be a $15 common, right? Like, it should be way cheaper than that. So similarly, I think a lot of the staple effects that exist in the lower rarities will become much more accessible and much more available.
Absolutely. Chase?
I would agree with that. I also do kind of want to pose the thing, like, maybe this is only my LGS, but like, yes, these cards will be low in price, or at least like a little bit lower, a little bit more stable. But how many of those cards are actually in LGSs in terms of this set? Like, we don't know yet because it hasn't dropped yet, obviously. But as the weeks go by, I think that's something that I think we should all pay attention to. I know that I really like to pay attention to that kind of stuff at my LGS. You know, they've already opened their Commander Master stuff and have it already categorized so that they can go ahead and start selling it, you know, when it releases. But, you know, their stock is pretty low based on how much they were able to allot for their own stock and pre-orders from other people. So like, I wonder, you know, yes, those cards are going to stabilize and lower in price, but how are we going to actually see those in stores? I just think it's just like a good hypothetical. Just we can't answer the question now, but I just so to keep in mind.
Angelo, you had something to add?
Yeah. So I don't know about anyone else, Chase. I know that you had mentioned that like you're deep in your LGS, and that is awesome. I'm very like kind of jealous. The LGSs we've had around here where I live have all gone out of business. The way that I purchase cards is through aggregate sites like TCG Player or Card Kingdom, etc. And I don't know about anyone else. I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm sure there's a non-zero amount of people in a similar situation.
Yeah.
And that isn't to discount small local areas that might not be able to like churn through a lot of product. But I think the most important thing is to see the prices drop on that larger scale, because that impacts kind of everyone. That's the thing that I think is going to end up kind of giving you the answer to the question that you were kind of asking too.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good thing to say. I didn't even consider online sales because I'm just so, you know, ingrained in my local scene. But I do have friends who don't live in my state who their nearest LGS is like an hour and a half away. So like that, you know, like I definitely agree with what you said. Like that's a point that I did not take into account.
I have a very small LGS, independently owned and operated by one guy. And he let me know today that he isn't opening any Commander Masters products. Everything that he bought is going to customers that pre-ordered it. That's the only way that he was able to bring it in at this price point. Meaning, I'm not going to be able to go to my LGS and pick up singles, right? I'm going to have to go to these large online retailers if I want singles here. And that sucks because I would love to support my LGS, but at these price points, an LGS, especially of that scale, can't buy a case for themselves to open and sell to the community. It is up to these larger aggregates, and it is up to the whales to feed it back in. And if that doesn't happen, then this isn't doing what it should do in supporting LGSs, getting that kid who comes in and asks for that card to have it available at the LGS. And that's a damn shame. All right. So in terms of this bringing in players, one of the big vectors every set has for bringing in new players are the pre-cons. And we had some hyped up pre-cons coming. They gave us teases of these pre-cons months in advance, got everybody excited for them, and also let us know that they were going to be higher priced as well. I know that there's some feels out there. So I want to get everybody's opinion. How do we feel about the quality of these pre-cons? And this is speaking as somebody whose content is upgrading and reviewing pre-cons. And two, how do we feel about the price point on what is essentially the same product that is released with every set? Angelo, I know you've got the strongest feels about this. Let us hear it.
So, it's weird to me because they've been talking now that the precons are not premium products. They are not premium precons. First, right off the bat, it is weird to me to present a premium product and another product that you're putting the same name on, and then saying this is not a premium product, even though it's affiliated with a premium product, but we're giving it a premium price tag. Because to me, the precons are the way you get newer players in. The precons aren't for the franchise players, especially now that you can get precon cards in collector boosters. I thought personally the Lord of the Rings decks were kind of pushing it with like $60, $65. Now we're seeing like $80 bare minimum. And you're getting 10 new cards and some good reprints, yes, But the whole point of precons and what they've talked about before is we're going to give you a precon and you're going to be able to take it out of the box and play with your friends. And then you're going to be able to upgrade it. You're going to be able to personalize it. You're going to be able to do the things that you need to do with it. If you're spending $80 to $100 on a single precon that you cannot do anything with by yourself, you need other people to also buy these products with you. How are you going to have more money to spend upgrading these precons if you're a new player? I wouldn't be able to convince someone and go, hey, here, come play Magic with me. You just need to spend $80, and if you don't like the deck, you need to spend another $80. It'll be fun. Like, that to me frustrates me, and that's the thing that really like sticks in my craw is the amount of financial labor being expected of people on this front. Because to me, these products aren't for the whales. That's what the set's for. Do what you want with that. The precons, I'm not really feeling it. I love the Eldrazi deck, though. Still not feeling it.
Awesome. Chase.
So, when it comes to the precons, I fully don't believe that precons are meant for newer players anymore. And I say that in a rather sense that it rather makes me disappointed because they're beautifully built. I've been lucky to have access to all 4 of these precons. I've played with them. I've fiddled with them. They're very strong. I think they're very well designed. I think they're fun. But when it comes to like new players, precons, I think 5 or 6 years ago would definitely be considered to be like a good entry level into the game in terms of like cost and what value you get out of it. I still think precons are good to get new players in the game, but the price point with these in particular, and even like you said, the Lord of the Rings ones are very expensive and are very hard to justify. I was at my LGS the other day and there was a little boy with his 2 parents and he wanted to learn how to play Commander. They wanted to help support that hobby. So I was like, I'd be more than happy to show you and tell you how to do things. And, they were looking at all the precons and I was like, listen, I'm going to be so honest, you should just do the starter precons because now we have this concept of starter precon now, which are lower in price point. I haven't looked at the lists, so I do believe they're pretty decently built, but they're not as, complex and interwoven as the precons we're seeing now in terms of like Lord of the Rings and even Commander Masters ones. You have like the Dragon Lord of Tarka one that's dragons. You have a Gisa and Geralf one that does like graveyard stuff. It kind of teaches you the basics, of Magic. I think those are very good for introducing players into the format, but it's when it comes to the cost of these precons, it is it is a little bit heartbreaking for me because precons, that's how I learned how to play Magic. I went to my LGS, they kind of told me how to play Magic. My first precon I ever pre-ordered, I guess I was way ahead of my years because I pre-ordered the Atraxa precon because I was like, she looks cool, and that just so happened to be the big hit from that set. But it's when it comes to precons, the price point, I definitely agree, is just really rough. That being said, as someone who has been able to fiddle with, put their hands on, play, and interact with these precons, I do think they're beautifully built. I do really enjoy them. I think that, in my opinion, if you're like, which one is the one with the best value, I think the Slivers one is a really good one. If you're like, I want to be a Slivers deck that has like all the good building blocks for that. But, price-wise, it's like,
Definitely tough to swallow. Shivam, your thoughts?
So Chase covered a lot of what I was trying to say, which is, first off, the starter precons, which I've played all of, and my friend Michael actually was the one who built them. They're fantastic. They're my tier of deck, so they're not like the most extreme, super powerful, like the way. I mean, look. First, to set the ground floor, every precon that WotC's put out with the main tier set since Zendikar Rising or whatever the hell have been like absurd, right? Like powerful, synergistic, very, very strong, great reprint. They've been really hitting on all cylinders to the point of actually making me really unhappy because a lot of their precons are just better than the decks I built. But that being said, though, the starter decks are more of like, let's say 2015 Commander or 2010 Commander, like they're definitely fully synergistic. They play exactly the way you want. Yes, their mana base is WotC tier, but every WotC tier mana base is going to be the same. let's be real here.
Mhm.
The point though is that the starter precons are a annual product that will always exist and always be available on shelves, kind of the way that the like deck building kits used to be when they were first put out.
Mhm.
They're meant for like you go to Target or your Walmart or whatever, you pick up a $20 precon, you can play the game. That I think is WotC's like genius idea, which is like, hey, jumpstart packs exist, starter deck, commander decks exist. That way, new players can come in, have an easy entry point with a fully playable deck that they can walk in and just get away with. Unlike a lot of the previous like pre-constructed things, which were not playable out of the box. And the problem is, I think that they went too far on the flip side, which is to say that, okay, great, we have these starter precons. Now we can go and take these pro precons and then crank the nozzle all the way to like 11s, right? And I think that's where the problem lies. Like, these precons for Commander Masters are fantastic. They're incredibly well built. They're highly desirable. They're for cards and things people have been asking for, and they're also for Planeswalkers, which nobody wants and garbage and you shouldn't play.
Liars,
But
lies.
but these are cards. These are decks that, okay, look, you're getting 100 cards, and you're also so like, okay, fine, flat rate $100 a card. That's not true though, because a lot of these cards are not $1 worth, right? They should not be $80 precons. They shouldn't be 110 for the Eldrazi deck precons. These, at best, a precon should be like, if you want $20 for the starter set, then give me like a $50 like set precon. I don't like $50 precon. I think that's still exorbitant. However, that is much more reasonable and palatable and something I can understand, as opposed to $80 to $90 to $110 for like one. Like, I would not be able to buy any of these precons if not for the fact that Wizards literally sent them to me.
Same.
Fair.
Genuinely.
And I buy every precon.
Okay, well, I don't do that.
I love precons.
Clay, your opinion on the price point of these precons and the quality of these precons. How do you feel?
So, you know, to echo everything else, that like this price point is, in my opinion, too high. I don't think that it's justified, especially if we're not going to make it a premium precon with like specific printings or foiling, you know, like unless it's like it had a like the heads or tails
Yeah.
precon, right? That had like the different art or unique art and stuff. Like if you give treatments like that, then maybe you can justify it. Similarly, you know, we played basically the first handful of years that us here at the C&C Power Hour, you know, when we were playing Magic, we were just playing precons against each other, and we got all the precons. At one point, you know, Chris had like all of the boxes displayed behind on his desk, but so that was all we did. And we would like, you know, one night we would just play green based precons against each other, and then another night, you know, we'd be like, all right, we're gonna do 2015 this year or tonight, and then so we would just, you know, pick 2015 ones and go. I think, you know, precons nowadays are super sweet. Kind of to Shivam's point about I think about the Cabaretti precon from New Capenna. And I was immediately captivated with Fabine. And Fabine is one of my favorite decks that I've ever built, and I absolutely love playing Fabine. And the Cabaretti precon with Fabine at the head is faster and way scarier than the Fabine that I built, that with like a $950,000 deck list, not money that I spent, but like cards that I already had on hand, right? Like I put all my favorite cards in there. There's all this like powerful magic, and every time I put the actual straight precon at a table with people, I was threatening lethal so fast, and it's a 6-mana commander. I was like, how is this so scary? I think the precons are super sweet. I've been very hyped about them since they first like told us about them, about the themes. I think the Enchantress one looks awesome. The Eldrazi one, the Eldrazi one is terrifying. The Sliver one, I'm not a Sliver fan, but it still looks super sweet. And I love, and I'm in the minority a lot, but like I love Super Friends archetypes. I love Planeswalkers. They're my favorite card type. And so whether or not people like want to have that experience, like getting cards that are for that archetype in this format, I think is a net positive thing, and I think that's really cool. But unfortunately, if you're going to print it at $80+ a precon, people aren't going to access them. There's people in the chat talking about the $20 precons that for back from 2020, and product like that is so sweet. But I was just remembering how those were the two that had Lathril and AC, which are like two of the most gassed up commanders. That they were like,
those decks were broken.
Yes,
they
were.
They were like $20 precon, and you were like, oh, okay, cool. This is the cruiser, like get somebody right off the bat.
That goddamn Lathril precon. I'm sorry, not going to interrupt. Not going to interrupt.
You're totally fine. That's the response that Lathril invokes, right? When you sit down against Lathril for the first time, you're like, oh, $20 budget. It's elves, but it's $20 precon. And then no, that's scary as hell. And
Chase,
AC,
you had something to add in?
Oh, I was just gonna say, in terms of these precons, and I really, I really hope there's someone smarter in here than me about this, because I pay attention to the Super Friends one because I have taste. But there's a couple brand new cards within, specifically the Super Friend precons. I have not checked to see if it's any of the other precons that are new cards that I thought would pop up in packs, and they aren't. So, for example, the new Teo, the new Chandra, and that new, I think his name is Vronos, that new blue one, they are only available within that precon. You cannot get them in packs, which I was really surprised about, because I was like, ooh, yay, I really love Chandra Fire's Legacy. I really want to get, this brand new foil, put it in my Chandra deck. And then I looked on Scryfall and I'm like, why is it only telling me that there's only one version of this card? I thought that we would get another one. And I even looked, and it just made me a little bit nervous. I thought for some certain specific cards you could get them elsewhere, and that typically is the case. But I don't know if it's for any of the other precons, but from this one I noticed that there are some new cards you can get, of course, the Beacon and stuff, like the Oathkeeper Ogre in packs, but you can't get the Planeswalkers, which I found to be very interesting.
Yeah. Angelo, you had something to add?
Yeah, I was going to say, I do think you can get the Planeswalkers from the collector boosters.
I'm not seeing it on Scryfall as an option to get.
Well, but their base version, you won't get foils, you won't get extended arts, you won't get anything. I only know this because for my Innistrad cube, for those who know, you can only get extended art non-foils from the precons. So I think that also applies to the Planeswalkers as well. So any card that would be non-foil in the deck will be non-foil even in collector boosters.
I really hope that I'm proven wrong on this, because I opened a whole collector booster box and not a sight to be seen of those.
Damn. Well, I'm hoping that I'm correct.
I would like for you to be correct.
Yeah.
I would like for you to be correct, because I would really like another Chandra.
Very fair, very fair. And I think circling back around to the precons themselves here, if we are pricing precons at a premium price point, I really like the way that the Warhammer set handled them, where you have the base level precons at the base level entry price, and if you want a fancy version, that's where they give you the premium surge foil version. Yep. If WotC wants to do premium product in terms of precons, in terms of these arguably entry level products, and they want to cater to whales, then set that price point higher, but just make it a fancy version that you can buy out of the box. Don't price the regular precons at this higher price point. I think that's going to scare people away, and that's not what you want to do with something that is meant to be a grab and play for new players a lot of the time. Shivam, you had something to add in?
Yeah, I just want to say I went and checked. It says here in the Collecting Commander Masters page that because the Planeswalkers don't appear in extended art versions, so 5 of these new Planeswalker and Sagas that were printed in the Commander decks, because it said most of the new to Magic Cards from Commander Masters Commander decks will be available on collected boosters, except for 5 of them.
See?
No,
I told you. It makes me sad.
It does not tell you which 5, but
that doesn't make any sense.
That would be Chandra, Teo, Vronos, or the 3 Planeswalkers.
And
then
the
the 2 Sagas are.
And that would be the Hellavault one with Avacyn And I don't remember the other saga because I'm just being honest. The Enchantress one was the one I paid the least attention to. 'cause I
Wow,
was
that's
like, I don't like.
brutal. That the sagas.
Yeah.
So I just didn't think that it would be that way because that's like
That doesn't make any
kinda-
sense and is
yeah,
not
that's
reasonable.
not smart.
Yep. Well,
Okay.
it's weird because this is
Chase, I take the L on that one.
Sorry that I'm correct. I didn't want to be.
yeah.
Sorry,
But
I didn't mean
hey,
to just trash, but I figured we
No,
should.
that's
No.
important info to give us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now I need to know how to get that saga for my cube.
Right.
I got you,
Angelo.
Angelo. Got
Oh.
you, babe.
Oh my god.
We have seen blowback from the community when Wizards does print exclusive cards to certain products as well.
Mhm.
Being able to get this through multiple vectors without having to buy a precon to get these cards.
Yeah.
They've said the same thing that they have with Secret Layers as well. Cards that are printed exclusively to Secret Layers are later printed in Universe in boosters to improve availability. So the fact that some of these aren't printed also in the collector boosters and the set boosters, it means that we're going to get that demand driven higher, and eventually we're going to see these reprinted, whether it's in more precons, in Secret Layer that's just for these 5 cards, whatever it might be. Yeah, I know everybody's hoping for that one.
God, that would be
amazing.
That would take the cake, man. That would take the cake right there.
Right. Now, we're at the halfway point right now, everybody. So I want to remind the audience once again that you can donate to support the Trevor Project tonight. Hit Command Donate in chat, and donating in $5 increments enters you into our prize draw at the end of the night. We are already at $330 donated. Our next goal is $400. If we reach that, we're going to be giving away a second Commander Masters precon. Keep in mind that these are the pricey precons, so get in while you can. Get into this draw. It is worth your while here. We're also going to be giving away a prize pack from our fantastic sponsor, Infinitokens, too. So please support this fantastic cause. We appreciate everybody hanging out, and we are going to be doing Q&A at the end of the hour, too. So redeem that questions points redemption in chat. We've already got a couple ready and queued up for us a little bit later, but we want to make sure that you get your questions answered too. All right, so heading into the yes, and thank you for blaming me with that chat redemption too.
Oh no.
Heading into the back half of our discussion, talking about some of these reprints in particular. What, in our opinion, our collective opinion here, are some of the biggest hits for the set, some of the best reprints that we're seeing? And conversely, on the flip side of that, what are the biggest misses? And interpret that how you will, whether that is what has been reprinted that you really thought doesn't need another reprint, or what do you wish was reprinted that was really left out of this set? I know that that's a lot. Chase, you've got opinions already. Let's hear it.
Sorry, I like talking. When it comes to this set, I think there are some pretty good hits. I do think there's some pretty hefty misses. In terms of things that I was like, I don't think they needed a reprint. The Cause of Great Distortion and Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, I felt, in my opinion, didn't really need a reprint. Angelo seems very incensed by that. But here's the deal. I would have liked the other versions of Kozilek and Ulamog to be reprinted. Because, I would have liked the Infinite Gyre and the other Kozilek. Angelo. Oh my god. Sorry.
You're gonna get my infinite ire pretty soon.
Oh my god. Can we just not let him speak? I think in terms of like pretty dope hits, I like seeing the free spells reprinted. I think those were a huge necessity. I like them a lot. I also like that there are multiple different printings of them to again kind of help stabilize that price. Why are you laughing?
Oh,
Sorry,
Chris in chat at $420 donated. We mute Angelo for 2 minutes.
Oh my god, please somebody do this for me. I think the medallions were desperately needed. I think I wrote an article ages ago, like months ago, about my guesses, and medallions were like the number one, and I was like, oh thank god they needed them. In terms of a miss, in my opinion, I was so certain in that article. I was like dead certain. I was like, we got our dragon. we're getting Edgar. We're getting another Edgar. Give me another Eminence Edgar. I was like so sure. I was like, why wouldn't they give us the other Eminence commanders? They only gave us one. And I was like, where's Hot Vampire Daddy? Like, where'd he go? And I was sure that we were gonna get him, and we didn't. But like, I love the tutors. I love the finales. I love the Arachnogenesis. Personal tutor. I mean, I think those are all just like really good hits for me. And now I would like to pass the microphone to Clay and not Angelo.
You'll get your chance to speak, Angelo. But yes, Clay, let's we'll let you stew on it a little bit longer, Angelo. Just let's see you get a little bit redder here and all. Clay, biggest hits, biggest misses. What do you feel?
You know, that's a great question. No, I'm just kidding. I think the biggest hit, like literally the biggest hit, is Zalortha. Getting an actual card for Zalortha is
That's a good one.
Is just super cool. That was always a thing that kind of just, if I thought about it, it annoyed me. You know, obviously it's not a big deal at all, but having an actual card for Zalortha, pretty cool. I love the we're talking about like the free spells. I think that those were desperately needed. I think that having I'm like scrolling back up trying to find the card now.
Yeah,
there was one specific one while Chase was talking that I was like, oh, this was a card that I really wanted and thought we should have. Oh, Zatalpa. Having Zatalpa reprinted.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Scream. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I typically don't have expectations, I guess, for sets like this. So I don't really, when I'm looking at them, I don't really think about like hits or misses in that sense, where I kind of just evaluate. Yes, thank you, Chris. What we're given, you know what I mean? If that makes sense. I really like getting the some of the partner commanders back, like Kelith and Kedis. Just having more copies of those out there, I think, is a good thing. More people should be playing those, whether it's in the 99 or as partners. They're super fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna. I don't know if Angelo has any thoughts about this.
You want to hand it back to me, and then we'll let Angelo go after me.
My time has come.
Yes, please, Angelo. Let us know.
All right. So
wait, you guys skipping me entirely? What happened?
Oh, hi. No, definitely
Welcome
not.
back, Shivam.
Hello.
I've been here the whole time. What
Your
happened?
camera disappeared.
Wait, what?
You just
Yeah, your camera was blacked out for like
What?
a solid
Yeah.
2,
I was like,
3
why
minutes.
are you guys just ignoring me entirely?
No, we couldn't see you.
we could not see or hear you. Yeah, unfortunately.
I see you guys just deflecting swatted me into an obscuring haze, huh?
Oh.
All right. Well, in this case, let's take the opportunity to not talk to Angelo. Shivam, how about your opinions on biggest hits and biggest misses out of the set?
First off, I think getting another doubling season, even though there's another one coming in Eldraine, we didn't know. Doubling season is great. We can always use more doubling seasons. Frankly, double the number of doubling seasons. It is one of my favorite cards. It is the most exemplary commander card. We should always have more of those. I hate that the free spells exist. However, if they're going to exist, I'm glad that they were reprinted because they shouldn't exist at those prices. I think a lot of these hits, a lot of these utility cards, like getting Stormkilling Artist back was great. Getting Savage Beating back is great. You know, like Insurrection was a card that was starting to creep up there. That's a really fun card and really cool. I think they did a really good job, generally speaking, with the hits here, and just even with like the generic-y cards. Getting another Toxic Deluge. Toxic Deluge is awesome. What a great reprint. Nobody talks about it, but it's like a staple. It's beautiful, and I'm happy to see more of it. There were a couple of reprints. I'm like, did we really need like the 38th Talrand? Probably not. Yeah. We probably didn't need the first 30 of them. But I guess they just haven't figured out what else is blue and what blue can do. So here's another goddamn Talrand. I kind of wish they hadn't reprinted Jingizu because I don't think we should have more time locks in the format. Like, there's a bunch of cards that I'm like, I wish they hadn't reprinted this just because the availability makes it more present in the format. And I don't generally like gating things by rarity and stuff, but some cards just shouldn't exist and they're not good enough for us to ban. But having less of them means people play less of them. Anyways, the biggest miss for me, though, is Parallel Lives. Parallel Lives from Innistrad desperately needs a reprint, and not a Judge Foil reprint, but like a real reprint. And like, I love that card. It's one of my favorite cards, and it costs stupid money. And if Doubling Season is getting this many, we should share the love to all the other doublers.
Yep, 100%. My biggest miss is Anointed Procession.
Yeah, where's 90p? 90p deserves another. Love that card.
We're getting 2 more this year, 2 more Doubling Season reprints, and we haven't seen an Anointed Procession.
Well, they haven't announced all the cards that are on that sheet yet, so I'm hoping
Look,
Anointing's there.
hey, I am crossing every finger that I have right
it's
now.
Gonna be 12 more Talorans. It's just gonna be all this
In the enchantment sheet. It's gonna be 12 more
Dude, I feel
Talorans.
real good about the fact that I bought like 4 Chinese Anointed Processions at one point for like $5 each, just because they're like, well, they're in Chinese, and I'm like, I know what that picture does. I don't need it to be in English.
Incredible. Well, I guess regrettably we have to talk to Angelo about his opinions now. Angelo, please. We've been all on the edge of our seats. Biggest hits and misses from the set.
All right. Wait, what were we talking about? I completely forgot. So, biggest hits, I think, are the medallions. I don't think those cards should be nearly as expensive as they are. I'm going to leave my
as
hit
plentiful as any other mana rock.
Exactly.
I've gone on record saying that.
Yep. And I think I will leave it at that. I think those being reprinted are, at least to me, the biggest of the biggest. I don't care about free spells. I don't care about Dragon or whatever. I just think the medallions getting another like hefty reprinting is good enough for me, and I'm happy to sign off there. What I'm not happy about is Chase and the Eldrazi, because if you look here at my notes, I made notes. You can't really see.
I can't tell.
No, that's okay. Don't worry, I will tell you. The original Ulamog and Kozilek have gotten 5 reprintings. Ulamog and Kozilek number 2 have gotten 2 if you count Secret Layers. This is their first booster pack reprinting. So I will not have any slander about Eldrazi friends. As such, the biggest miss is no Emrakul. Where is Emrakul? I feel like
I'm in the banned list where she belongs.
Yeah.
No,
Suffer.
A moon, right? That was the story?
No,
that's where Emrakul.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, I feel like I'm back on Battle for Zendikar, being like, "Here's Kozilek and here's Ulamog. Where's Emrakul?"
Spoilers: Mind Slaver is a terrible effect in Commander. Everybody hates it. Putting Mind Slaver on a body is not great. Reprinting that card is very unlikely to happen.
It'd be great and limited. Well, I have a backup. I have a backup miss, and this one I think you'll agree with me. Pitiless Plunderer.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted. So yeah, Pitiless Plunderer not being reprinted is wild to me. I thought for sure I would have bet like my entire cube that this was going to be in this set, because like why wouldn't it be? But hey, I don't know. I'm hoping for side profile Emrakul Secret Lair at some point.
What the hell would the side profile of Emrakul look like? She's symmetrical all the way around.
I don't know. That's why I want to see it. I want to see
the cheeseburger. Cheeseburger.
It would be another friggin' portobello mushroom grilled on the thing with like tentacles coming off.
They taste good and they're good for you, I think.
I hate portables. There are a bunch of cards in this set, though.
With Pitiless Plunderer not being reprinted, we do have Ixalan coming up at the outset of next year. So, yeah, fingers crossed that we get a Pitiless Plunderer reprint in that set, because right now this is what, a $15 uncommon.
Yeah.
At this point,
10-ish. Well, 15 for you, I guess.
Yeah, in Canadian dollars.
You know what's a great hit that I forgot about? Tooth and Nail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tooth and Nail is a solid card. It is a Commander staple from 1,000 years ago. It hasn't been reprinted since like Modern Masters 1. Love me a Tooth and Nail.
Absolutely.
Finally pulled one too, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, Chase.
One reprint I forgot about, Song of the Dryads. I'm actually super happy to see that again because that used to be a pretty expensive one for me when I first started playing Magic. I'm happy to see that. And also, Angelo, you're incorrect. Emrakul was reprinted in this set. She's called Ruka Rumel, and she's in the Slivers precon. And apparently, people think that she is.
Did you know that Ruka Rumel actually existed before Emrakul did? Ruka Rumel is a flavor text character.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Oh my god, Emrakul is Ruka Rumel. Oh my god.
She went too far, and now
Villain arc all along.
Yeah.
I think there's another few big misses in that we saw some reprints of some of the precon face commanders in this set, but not a lot of them. We saw, say, Marin reprinted in this set, which is great, but we're
Marin's been
lacking
reprinted so many
lot
times.
of other precon face commanders that have an opportunity to be printed and just have not been, which is a real shame. I've got a handful of old precons that are up here, and the face commanders have never been reprinted. It's impossible in a lot of cases to find, for especially some of the older ones like a Mind Seize, a regular sized foil version of some of these commanders, some of these precon exclusives. I would think that this set, if any, would be the place to reprint them, and unfortunately we haven't seen them. Chase.
You just reminded me. I'm so glad you said that. For my CDH friends, I really would have liked to see some of the original partners. I would have liked to see like a Timna. I would have liked to see a Tana. I would like to see some of those old partners because they are not cheap. They're very expensive. And like I don't play CDH, but like give them a break. All right, it's not cheap to play that format. Give them something. Give them a Timna. Give them a Tana.
And they did say why they didn't include partner commanders throughout the set, where they wanted to do the, hey, you get 2 monocolored commanders and they have unofficial partner when you're doing the limited format in this. Completely understandable. But I agree that a lot of these partner commanders haven't received the reprint love that they need since Commander Legends. Shivam.
One of the things about the original 15 partners is that their gameplay is not great. In fact, it's less than great. It's actually like abysmal and bad for the format tier, not great. And I believe WotC acknowledges internally that those 15 were a mistake, right? Like they were a design mistake, and they have definitely upended the format. And then adding another 38 million friggin' partners in the Commander Legends did not help the cause. So I would be very surprised. And I'm speaking this as just a knowledgeable fan, not as somebody with insider knowledge, because I'm obviously, I have NDAs. I would not tell you if I knew anything. But given what I know about how WotC operates, I would be really surprised to see those guys, like the original 15, show up outside of special secret layer type of things. Because like WotC, I think those are one of the things WotC kind of wants to shovel underneath the table and not think about anymore, because they were just like disastrous for a commander.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
It's a shame though, because like you said with the free spells, right? Even if you don't necessarily agree or enjoy having something there, if it's going to exist, it should be accessible, right? And I think that a limited commander environment like this,
master
set, it probably would have been fine just to put more copies out there. I do think. Sorry, I just came up with a miss as everybody was talking, but the specific legendary choices of the profile commanders and some of the other, where like having Talrand, like not just the Talrand reprint, but then having the Talrand getting a profile, or
so stupid.
Everybody was laughing about Teysa Karlov, who has had so many printings now and multiple like alt art. Like,
where are the other 3 Teysas?
Well, so they're
Mom. She was in Mom.
Yeah, and then there was the what was the other one? The multiverse
cool
legends.
Costume one.
The secret layer. Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, there's like 4 other Teysas beyond just Teysa Karlov.
We could have gotten a different Teysa.
Like, where's Envoy of Ghost or Orzhov Scion, right? Like, I mean, mind you, the profile of Teysa is great, and it's hot, and I love that card.
The arts are all really cool, but it's like we could have gotten either more relevant or less like
Where's my Rafik?
flooded.
He's in the set for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic points. Fantastic points.
Yeah.
Angelo.
I just want to mention how weird it is that Rafik got a showcase for Capenna on the list for some reason, but then like disappeared and didn't get anything anywhere else. Like
Yeah.
he was the only one to get a Capenna showcase on the list, and then also the only one to ever do that for any other like no other set has that. Just like one rando legend with like showcase art.
More
I
like-
saw-
Yeah, it's so weird, but I mean, I love it, so I don't care, and it's also one
Yeah,
of my
no,
favorite cards of all
certainly.
time. So,
Or like Rafik of the
Yeah.
Few, am I right, guys?
Yeah. Ooh.
I
Get
bet
out.
that this Rafik in the Capenna frame was supposed to be on the Multiverse Legends sheet, and they didn't have room for it, so they bounced it here. Because this strikes me as something where they had the frame for it, they commissioned the art for it, and it would have fit in with the Multiverse Legends, but they had to include it in the list in order to get it out there.
Yeah, or maybe even a secret layer or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks great.
I love this card so. I mean, this art. Like, I was weirded out that they didn't do like the other 4 or whatever that
Mhm.
were there. But I think you're exactly right. I think they commissioned this artwork, and they're like, well, it's got to go somewhere.
Exactly.
Use it.
Oh, you know what it
and-
is? That's exactly what it is. Is that at the last minute they decided that the things on the multiverse list on the multiverse bonus sheet had to be things that were actually alive in the conflict, and they might have been like Rafik had been dead for a long time or something like
Mhm.
that.
Oh, they
But-
also didn't make an Alara frame.
Yeah, that's
So-
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it just looks so good. It's
Yeah.
just so random and it's so good.
Yeah.
Like Rafik is
hey-
one of my favorite cards. I'm sorry.
We're going to get to one more question for us before we get to audience questions as well. So everybody make sure to get your questions in chat because we will be getting to Q&A in just a couple of minutes. And I do want to let you know that we are going to close drawing for donations and for contributions while we head into Q&A. So we are $60 right now away from our second goal and the second pre-con. So please get those donations in now in increments of $5 to be entered. We would love to hit that $400 donation goal before the end of the night. We
Okay,
will
Yargle
announce...
probably didn't need to be in this set.
Sorry?
Yargle probably didn't need to be in the set.
Speak for yourself. All right.
Look, there are some Yargle diehards out there. We'll give them that.
I don't know. 9-3 dies pretty easy.
That's the lightning bolt. Doesn't die to Doomblade though.
Oh,
Now, last question for us around the table here before we get to our audience questions is, do you prefer your reprints in a master set like this, or do you prefer secret layers? That is the big question here. Because if we're looking for fancy arts, we all said that we like fancy arts of our commanders. Would you rather get that from a dedicated secret layer, or are these master sets where you want to see this stuff? Shivam, we'll start with you. Chase,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we know your opinion on this.
You don't know.
so here's the
You
thing.
don't know me.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so here's the thing. On the one hand, having a secret layer means I can get the specific legend I want. I can get the specific print I want. I can guarantee that when I give them my $30 or whatever, thing is going to come in the mail that is the exact card I'm looking for.
Mhm.
Putting it in a booster pack means that a bunch of people who didn't know that they wanted this can also get it. And people don't get the kind of FOMO that you get from crap. I missed that secret layer window. Now I'll never get the Grenzo that looks like made out of shoe leather or something like that. You know, whatever these secret layers are these days. But
Spoilers, upcoming secret layer.
Shoot other secret layer.
I mean, dude, you know, I'm sure there's some Nike fan out there who's like, "Yo, it's the hottest drop." But anyways, it's just like, I think I like the fact that they split the difference.
Yep, fair point. Fair point. Clay, how do you feel about this? Do you prefer your reprints and fancy versions in secret layers or in master sets like this?
So I think that having them in both is a good thing, and I think that I actually, in general, prefer this in the booster packs. Each set getting their own styles, a whole bunch of cards, like way more cards than we would get in a secret lair, right? So many more cards can get that treatment. There's just a lot more to it, and I really appreciate that. That said, I have bought a number of secret lairs, more than, like, I've spent more money on secret lairs than I have on master sets. So like at a personal level, like Shivam said, guaranteed, I know what cards I'm getting. I know the printing, because a lot of times I want that printing. So it's like, when you buy packs and then it's like, oh, I got the card I wanted, but it's the regular printing. Damn it. You know, like there's kind of that level of annoyance. So I really, in general, I think it's a good thing that they're in the booster packs, especially because them being in the booster packs means that if I'm buying singles, that they're going to be a lot cheaper. Yeah. But I appreciate the curated kind of guaranteed aspect of secret lairs.
Yep.
Just, I guess, to answer by saying, I don't know.
I really like your point about the availability on the secondary market. If somebody later comes into the format and pick up a fancy version of one of these commanders that they've fallen in love with, they're not going to be able to go back and find a version from a secret lair unless somebody has offloaded a secret lair that they purchased to the secondary market, where these versions that come in booster packs are likely going to be available for years and years now. Maybe not in the quantities that we want to see because of the price point here, but certainly in much higher quantities than just a secret lair printing. I think that's a fair point. Angelo, your opinion?
So I think secret lairs are cool. I think that they are for individual people, whereas a master set, like what was already said, is for the majority of people. And I think it is more beneficial in general for someone to go on to an aggregate website, type in a card, and go, wait, this card's $2? I thought it was $10. When did this get reprinted? And then you find out that it was a master set, a year ago. Mm-hmm. I personally like master sets more just because of the higher quantity of cards that will get into the market. And I know that I like blingy cards, but if I'm looking at a game or looking to play with people, I want to try and make sure that they are accessible as opposed to just blingy. That being said, I do like secret lairs like I started off with, but if one of them had to go, if someone was like, hey, you have to pick one, I'd be like, I get rid of secret lairs, it's fine. Like, well, like the reprint equity is more important to me than all the blinginess that could be there.
Mm-hmm. Fair point. We're once again gonna prevent Chase and Angelo from coming to blows on this one. Chase, your feelings, your opinions.
No, it's very weird because I love secret lairs, and I feel like that's kind of like a weird opinion to have, because largely I feel like a lot of people are like, I don't like secret lairs. Now, when it comes to reprints, I feel a certain type of way about both of things. For me, as an enfranchised player, I used to consider myself an average player. I now understand that I'm no longer an average player. I'm a very enfranchised player. When I look at a secret lair, I can pretty much go, I will make my money back with this. I can guarantee which one will be like worth it. Like, where if I buy this foil secret lair for $39.99, one card paid for it, and I have the rest, as there. That typically happens with me. That happened with the Kellogg's Loops one that I have with the Mystic Remora foil. Happened with that Kodama's Reach from the Hascon one, the cat one. That Kodama's Reach is now $50 Kodama's Reach, and at the time I did not pay $50 for it. When it comes to secret lairs, I love them because, in my opinion, I find them to be pretty good investments if you kind of have a good understanding of like cards and how they function and impact in different metas. Now, I will say this: when it comes to secret lairs, I am obsessed with the different art treatments because I think it's a beautiful way to explore new art styles and everything like that. When we look at booster packs, I actually prefer to see reprints more in booster packs, because for the average player, because there are so many different printings and so many different art variations, that lowers the cost of those cards for people. You know, like Atraxa, I'm going to give a perfect example. I opened a collector booster pack of Mom. I got a foil Atraxa in that new, you know, whatever you want to call it, that gilded looking border. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I looked up the price, $7, which Atraxa did not used to be that much money.
Mhm.
And that is insane. And that is phenomenal. And I'm excited about that. And I support that, because if you look, Atraxa also had a secret lair printing in that same frame. And those two cards are the same card and very different prices. So I just think, you know, when it comes to me, I'm going to say I prefer them in secret lairs, but that's just because I like buying them. I like investing in them. I think they're fun. When it comes to the average player, I prefer to see reprints printed in booster packs, because with the trend that we've seen with wizards and art treatments and stuff, an alternate art treatment in a booster pack is going to be cheaper than an alternate art treatment that you see in a secret lair,
Mhm.
you know, later down the line.
Perfectly fair. Perfectly fair. Shivam, you had something to add?
God damn it! What the hell? Chase distracted me with the Traxa.
Distraxa.
Oh my God. Yes.
Give me 10
We can come
seconds.
back to you, Shivam. I know Clay had
Yeah,
something to say about
give
the
me 10 seconds.
Traxa conundrum too.
Oh, mine was just a rant about the fact that they did that secret lair with 4 of the 4 drops, and
I
then
remember.
did not give KNT that treatment, and
Right.
how obnoxious that was. And then Rafik gets that. I completely forgot about that. Rafik gets that new Cabana style randomly in the list, and just sorry, that's my bad.
I'm with you, though. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I remembered. So Chase was saying something like, "Oh yeah, I can make my money back." I'm like, "Wait, who sells cards?"
Me. I
Like,
do.
I'm like, if I'm getting a secret layer, I'm not selling those cards, because I would then look at the hole in my binder and just I would not be able to handle that.
Yeah,
My-
that's the
That would
completionist
tear a
right
hole
there.
in my soul.
2 things. Thing number 1, I use my LGS as a second bank, baby. I use that as a second bank. I sell my stuff. I go, what's my balance? And they go, they have this much. And I'm like, all right, give me a soda and give me a single that I want, like.
I
So-
am a black void. I'm a black hole when it comes to magic cards. They come in and nothing leaves.
Well, it's the thing with secret lairs I'm learning to let go, because the reason why I have an all secret lair deck is because I purchased so many for only 1 card. And then I'm like, wow, this 1 card is perfect for my Locust God deck, but then I have 4 other cards. I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with this? And I felt guilty, so I made a secret lair deck. And guess what? The deck is amazing.
To be
But, oh my
fair,
God, it's
I did
expensive.
benefit from this, because you sent me the awesome Lord of the Undead or whatever
Yeah, you're
on the
welcome.
motorcycle that I desperately needed. So I guess I accept your position.
I didn't need it. I don't do zombies. And I was just like, I know
It was
Shivam has
exactly
a
what my
Grin
deck
Grin
needed. It was so exactly
I was
what my
like,
deck
take it.
needed.
Please, I'm not gonna. And I guess what? Haven't wanted for it since the day I sent it out.
Oh,
No,
every time I
want
see it, it makes me smile. So win-win for all around.
No, Shivam, I am the same way. Cards enter my collection and they do not leave my collection. They are here. I have either purchased these cards or I have received these cards, and they will be here forever.
Oh, yeah, like-
there's no selling them off. I've got the that Planeswalker secret layer. I have an unopened Walking Dead secret layer. That stuff is staying here forever.
Yeah, I'm actually even worse with gifts. If somebody gives me something, like I will sell cards on occasion and I'll be just really grumpy about it and like regret it forever. But if someone gives me a card, it doesn't matter how much that card is worth. That card is literally never going to leave my possession. Somebody once gave me a Gaia's Cradle. I do not need a Gaia's Cradle necessarily, and that is like $1 billion, but I will never give it up because it was a gift. And if that person wanted to sell it, they could have sold it instead. They gave it to me. I'm not going to turn around and sell their gift.
I'm gonna give you all my bulk now. Congratulations.
Except that.
You gotta downsize.
My wife has already made me purge my collection like 3 times. So
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you're gonna end up with like a shipping container backing up to your house full of Chase's bulk.
Jesus Christ.
Just
Well, I
gonna
need
say-
insulation, so
I said this is the donation to the Church of Chaff. XOXO.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Hey, before we get to our audience questions, we have hit our $400 donation. Thank you to Crab Baskets for getting us there. Incredibly generous of everybody. Absolutely amazing to see. This is last call for donations. If you do want to get in on the draw, this is absolute last call. We are going to be doing our Q&A and then announcing our winners. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So getting to some of our questions that have been asked, everybody. First up from Crab Baskets, who just donated. Thank you very much. With the alternate art cards we're getting for commanders and supplementary product, has that sparked your interest in building a commander that you haven't given thought to before? Is this getting you interested in older commanders that you have never paid a second thought to? I know for me personally, it's having me go back and revisit older precons. I love taking a look at precons, revisiting and upgrading precons. Having something like Marin reprinted makes me want to go back to that well, makes me want to look up that original precon and take a look at the difference between 2015 and today's standards when it comes to those decks. So there's a lot that's kind of sparking joy there for me. Chase.
So I find it really interesting because in the past, master sets have done this. For instance, double masters. I never looked twice at Cedrus the Traitor King, and when it had that beautiful, I think it was an Ian Miller art. Please don't take my word for that. That beautiful alternate art from Cedrus. I built a Cedrus the Traitor King treasures deck. I did Unearth with treasure synergies, and it was phenomenal. It was disgusting. I eventually took it apart. But that is pretty old commander in comparison to a lot of the stuff we're seeing nowadays, and it inspired me to brew something old. That being said, nothing from this current Commander Master set is grabbing me, but I do think that when we see older commanders in these sets with like, you know, updated little art treatments, it gives a little spice. You know, it makes me go, you know, it could do that for other people. So no for this one, but yes for others.
Shivam.
Honestly, that's not how I think about commanders. Like when I look at this set has definitely been for me more about looking at the utility cards that have been reprinted and at the cards that are kind of like, oh, I wanted that for a collection or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like generally my spark for commanders doesn't really come from reprints as much as it comes from like, I need to see like a set in limited or a set in synergistically, like, oh, where am I going with this or something? I don't know, because like a lot of these commanders are folks I already have, or folks that I'm just not inclined to play. Except if I do crack that Sideways Selvala, I am 100% building that deck because that card is hot.
Oh, sorry, Shivam. Did everybody get that audio? My money cut out there.
Yeah, I got it. I heard it.
Okay, fantastic. Clay, how do you feel? Anything here that's sparking your interest in revisiting some old commanders?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting that I haven't, like, there hasn't been anyone that I'm like, oh, I never thought about them, but now I'm going to build them because I'm seeing them again or I'm just reminded of their existence. But the alt art for Slimefoot and Tatioka, the profile art, those are two of the first commander decks that I built and really fell in love with as like, this is my deck, this is my thing. But it's been years and years since I had them sleeved up. And now seeing those profile arts, makes me want to like go back to having a Sapperling Slimefoot deck that just, you know, and then having a super silly like Tatiova Simic value deck again would be really cool and fun, and just it would bring me a lot of joy to see Tatiova. And you know, and at the time when I had her, my collection was a lot smaller than it is now, and so now I'm thinking about putting my Secret Lair Burgeoning and Mystic Remora in Tatiova, and the Secret Lair Azusa, and all how cool I could make it look and fun. And yeah, so I'm not looking to make anyone that like I haven't touched before, but it's making me want to revisit beloved old decks.
Yeah, I felt the same way when we saw the multiversal legends reprints, seeing something like Zada Hedron Grinder, which for me was a fantastic deck that I put together that I loved, that I ended up taking apart, was great to see that art and just remind me of the joy that I felt from the decks that I used to have and make me want to put them together again. And that's one of the things that I love about seeing these new arts and seeing these reprints, is that you end up being reminded of the deck graveyard that you might have that you put together and pulled apart, and just saying, well, hey, if I got my hands on a new copy of this, maybe I'd put that deck together again. Shivam.
I just realized, where the hell is Dockside?
Dockside was just reprinted earlier this year too, right? So,
Yeah.
There's Chris with the true Dockside.
I did think when I saw the art for Treasure Nabber on the preview page when they posted it, I was scrolling through previews on MTG Goldfish, because by the way, whoever's on MTG Goldfish, they need a raise, because as soon as a preview is posted, they got it on that website. They're quick there. But I saw the art for Treasure Nabber, the alternate art where it's the blue monkey holding the gem, and I was like, yo, sick full art Dockside reprint. And then I actually read the card and I was like, that's not my boy. It threw me off.
Still a sweet reprint though.
Beautiful,
like,
yes.
a really good choice.
It was also reprinted in Lord of the Rings, much like Toxic Deluge, which is also in the set, and Great Henge, which is also in the set.
And this is the first time that you can get it in foil, because it is another pre-con exclusive card, which is, again, what I think that this set should be. Let's reprint all of those pre-con exclusive cards so that you can get them in alternate arts, you can get them in foils. Again, one of the biggest misses, in my opinion, here. Angelo, we haven't heard your opinion yet. Is this sparking joy in revisiting any old commanders?
A little bit. But I mean, aside from Kaikar, because obviously the full art or the new art for Kaikar just looks so good.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I felt this kind of with Double Masters 2022, and I think it's a product of all the new design for like white. But anytime I see like, or for this, I saw Avacyn again, and like I think about Avacyn a lot. It's in my cube, but like I'm like, oh well, when's the last time I've actually thought about mono white Avacyn as an EDH deck? Like the last time it was, oh well, she's 8 mana. You're never gonna get to that in mono white. Don't worry about it. And now with all the treasure and all the ways that white has to smooth out its game, I'm like, oh, that's a little bit more attractive. Same thing with Gisela. Gisela was another one where I'm like, well, it's 7 mana in Boros. You're never going to get to do anything with it. But now, Red's been good for quite some time. But
can I tell you that turn 3 Avacyn after you drop a Smothering Tithe is hot?
Uh-oh. Yeah, exactly. And like same thing with Gisela, where it's like, well, Boros is now, again, Red's been good. But now that white has gotten so many more tools, it's like, well, 7 mana big angel that beats people up doesn't seem like such a bad deck nowadays. And I think that's really cool. That's where I've been kind of where my headspace has been with that recently, is looking at it to commanders that I've kind of written off because I'm like, well, I just, it doesn't really fit the way that I want to play, or it makes a little too much work for me to do. I really don't want to have to do that. But now I'm like, it's not as much work. I kind of want to do that. So,
yeah. Fantastic point. All right. Next question from everybody's friend Joel. Rapid fire here. Profile art style, smash or pass?
Smash.
I don't understand what that means.
Okay, so would you love it or would you hate it? Is going to be the appropriate
100% love that
way I'm going to frame this for you.
I'll swipe left up on that.
Right,
Swipe
right,
up,
right,
up.
right is good, left is bad. You want to swipe right if you like it. I got
That.
Yeah.
Look, I've dated once 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and I married her, so I have no idea.
You brag much.
Angela?
If it's 3/4 smash, If it's not, pass. Kaikar and Macias, A+. All the other ones, get out of
What about
here.
Oh, go
Kozilek?
to
Do you
hell,
like
buddy.
Kozilek? Do you like that Kozilek art
Oh, look
treatment?
at Macias. He looks so good.
Guess looks great. He's kind of side eyeing you there. Meanwhile, Kozilek is like
An eye.
he's
Multiple
really-
eyes.
Kozilek is the equivalent of an Eldrazi pug. I feel like he would have breathing
Kozilek
issues.
looks like
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I feel like he would be like a pug. Like, you know how pugs are like, that would be him.
I'm sorry, telling you what Kozilek looks like would ruin my reputation on the internet, so I'm just gonna let that one go.
I did say don't get us canceled. Clay, your opinion, smash or pass on the profile arts?
On the profile arts, in general, I think it's a total win. I think yeah, absolutely. Come on.
Beauty. All right, next
Yes.
question is from Chard Spark in chat. With all of the universes beyond, it seems like we've got a lot of outside sources colliding with Magic right now. How do we feel about the mass crossover with other properties going on in Magic? Is this a positive for the game, or is this something
Smash.
that is turning you off? Clay, let's start with you.
I love the universes beyond, even if it's properties that I'm not familiar with or a big fan of. The Warhammer 40k set was the precons were incredible and super cool, and I knew at the time absolutely nothing about Warhammer 40k, and now my TikTok For You page just keeps being like random like clips from Warhammer specific podcasts. And like now that's the thing that like I don't know if I'll ever actually play, but like I've learned a lot about the lore, the world, all that stuff, and that was a really cool way to get introduced to it. Lord of the Rings set was really cool. Even stuff that I don't care about, like to go all the way back, but like The Walking Dead or Transformers, like stuff that just doesn't interest me at all, like has still been cool. The artwork seems cool. It's awesome to see anytime something gets announced. The people who do love that thing exploding with joy at this like merging of their interests and their stuff. I think that the Universes Beyond stuff has been really cool. I think that it gives you more opportunities to get alternate or like premium art for reprints. We get some new cards. There's all kinds of cool flavor wins, thematic stuff. I think it's great.
Absolutely. Angelo, how do you feel about the Universes Beyond?
I'm not so insecure in my card game that Urza fighting Galadriel is going to be a problem for me.
Wow. Calling them out. Yeah.
That's all. That's it.
Giga Chad Angelo. Wow.
I'll take the heat for that one. Don't worry.
Let's get that last $5 in right now. Holy
Yeah. Quiet this guy. Silence him.
$20 and I shut up for the rest of the stream.
Oh, fantastic. I think that's a fine take. I don't mind Rick from The Walking Dead fighting Optimus Prime across the table from River Song.
I forgot about Optimus Prime. That's so good.
Hey, I'm all for it. I love it. And I mean, some of the Transformer stuff. Hey, our friend Carson, who's in chat right now, huge fan of Transformers. I have never seen him more hyped for new cards than when he saw the Transformer stuff. Absolutely love seeing it. And if that's just a small cross section of the audience out there and getting them into this game, 100%. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Chase, how do you feel?
So I think the answer is both for me to that question. And the reason why I say is this. For me, I feel like I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. I feel like seeing Doctor Who depicted in Magic really takes me out of it. I also would say the same thing about like The Walking Dead and Stranger Things. I felt like Warhammer fit the best flavor-wise. Same thing with Lord of the Rings. However, I'm going to say this. Just because I'm like, wow, this takes me out of it. Cool. That's my opinion. I'm so happy you're excited and I want you to buy this if it makes you happy, because guess what? That's what you should do. I'm not going to be like, I don't want to see this in my game. Who cares? It's not going to impact my enjoyment of the game. It's just for me, feelings wise, I'm like, it feels a little weird, but like, I don't care if I'm going to play against it. I want you to play something that brings you joy, whether it's a character you like or a mechanic or ability you like. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. it feels weird for me. Like I even made a post about it, and I don't want people to think that I'm like poo-pooing it, because I just, I'm a content creator. I'm supposed to have an opinion, so I'm going to tell you my opinion. But like, I'm also not going to tell you to not buy something, and I'm not going to say you can't play with me because you have this. I think it's a net good for Magic because it really ties together a lot of people's interests that bring people in. And I know that we're going to see some ones in the future. I think somewhere I saw on Twitter someone posting about, from Barcelona, saying that we're going to see Final Fantasy and Assassin's Creed. Those two are also things that take me out of the Magic headspace. But guess what? That's okay, because I don't have to play it or buy it if I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Super chill.
Perfectly fair. Perfectly fair. Shivam, how do you feel about all the universes beyond?
I'll be honest with you. I would be far more pissed to see somebody sitting down with a Flicked or Torment of Hailfire on the other side of the table than I would with like River Song or Doctor or whoever. The thing is that for me, I have personal feelings about the Universe Beyond. One is that I hate the Walking Dead cards because they nearly got me A, thrown off the keg, B, got me a lot of death threats and angry people. So I think I have a personal grudge against those cards. But I believe that if WotC had started the Universe Beyond with literally any other property but Walking Dead, nobody would have cared. It would have been 100%, oh, that's cool, and then moved on with our lives, and it would have been fine. Like, if they had started with Street Fighter, which, in my opinion, complete home run. I did not like the Universe Beyond until Street Fighter came out, and each of those 8 cards was literally the perfect representation of that card. But I think that if that had come out before Walking Dead, nobody would give a crap.
Yeah.
But the fact that they started with like Walking Dead and Stranger Things and whatever, and it's just like, these are not Magic. This doesn't feel like Magic. It's weird, blah, 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 blah. If they started with Lord of the Rings, do you think anybody would give a crap that Walking Dead and Fortnite have freaking Universe Beyond? Nobody would care because Lord of the Rings did it so good.
Yes.
Warhammer did it so good. I hate Warhammer. I have literally zero good feelings about Warhammer. The Warhammer decks are 4 of the best Magic products ever produced. I love them. I think they're phenomenal. And I think that if they keep it up, we're getting amazing Magic cards.
Yeah.
Who cares what's on the face? Look, I'll say this. Doctor Who's a little weird for me because it's a little too modern, a little too normal looking. But like, whatever, man. If those cards are as good as Slicer or as good as friggin' the red one or Red Death or whatever the hell it is from the
Red Terror
Warhammer decks. Huh? The Red what?
It's called the Red Terror.
The Red Terror. If they're anything as good as those cards, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Dr. How, Dr. When, bring them all.
Can't wait for my Big Bang Theory Universes Beyond. I can't wait to activate Bazinga.
Get out.
Hey, Angelo, why don't we throw it over to you for your opinion?
I can't believe I found the line where I would draw for Universe Beyond is the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
I want to play Sheldon and Penny partnered together, baby.
That's certainly a sentence that Chase just said and immediately was great.
Yeah, you have found my ick line for secret players.
That's why I'm here to push the envelope, baby.
Okay, final question before we announce our winners and our raid, where we're sending everybody over. Our final question from Crab Baskets, one of our big donators for the night. What is your favorite art from the set? We got a lot of new treatments. We got a lot of new art. What is your favorite?
Okay, give me like 10
set?
seconds to look.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a hot minute.
I will give you my opinion first. I know that we get a million different Soul Ring arts, but this new Soul Ring art really strikes me, and I think that it falls nicely in line with some of the other new artifact arts that we got for Mana Vault and Sensei's Divining Top. I like that we are getting fancy versions of some of these really heavily used cards in the format. I won't say staples of the format, but the fact that you can get a version that looks however you want, whether it is the Infinity Gauntlet Arcane Signet, whether it is this Orrery looking Soul Ring. I love that we are getting different versions of these arts. I love that we have a new Felwar art too. I mentioned it. I'm finally looking forward to getting a foil version of Felwar. I love that it's not the same Felwar that we've had since, Ice Age or all the way back in
the dark. Thank you.
Shivam?
First off, the Dark Felwar Stone is the best Felwar Stone. I will have I will hear nothing about it. I think my favorite art, though, probably Vronos Masked Inquisitor, because that dude is the dude who is the random guy from Duels of the Planeswalkers, which was the game that brought me back to Magic.
Mhm.
So seeing that actually become a real card is hot. Like, I think it's super, super good. I also love a lot of the new, like, the Elvish Mystics with, like, black people on them look amazing. I love the profile for Zakama. I love the profile for all of these profile arts, except for, like, a few of them for reasons I'm just not going to talk about. But I don't know. I mean, I think they did such a good job. Like Orang Frostfact. Oh, you know what my favorite is? Here's what my favorite is. I'll give you the one. Myriad Landscape. Myriad Landscape had a brand new artwork done by Drew Tucker as a full art extended edition. Drew Tucker is one of my favorite artists in old Magic, and it's beautifully like clean. It's got that abstract vibe that he had originally from like the old days of Magic, and I don't know. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Honestly, this image doesn't do it justice.
I would hang it on my wall.
Even the card that Chase held up there, you can see how vibrant those colors are. And yeah, it comes across so much better than this image of it does too. It's incredible. Clay, your favorite art from the set?
Oh my God. How do you ever pick? I think as far as for the profile ones, it's Silvala. Silvala was the first one we saw, I think. And the moment I saw it, I absolutely just fell in love with that. I couldn't believe it.
More pinks on Magic cards, please.
More pinks on Magic cards. You know, that's my brand for all pink everything. Jack Hughes has not done a lot of cards, but has done almost all of my favorite cards in the last like 2 years. So that's Silvala. I think the the full art for the 5 free spells that were originally from Ikoria are all very, very cool. I especially love the Azusa one. And then as far as like regular cards, the Stormkiln artists love having an alternate version for that, like a premium version. Reality Shift. I love this Reality Shift art is so cool and different. And all that glitters as well, I think is just so cool. Yeah. See that Reality Shift?
They keep knocking it out of the park with these arts, especially some of these full arts, like the extended art that goes beyond the border and the frame. Love to see it. I would love to be able to appreciate more of this full art too. So I want them to release them as pieces that we can appreciate without the text and the text box on them as well. This is where we get the art cards that come in a lot of the set boxes right now, but I feel like they are just not showing off these arts. These artists put in so much work and so much of it is obscured by these text boxes. Please let us see all of this art.
Magali's Onyxia or Onyxia, wherever you, that one is also that whole Enchantress, the alternate Narcy as well. Just absolutely beautiful.
How about that deflecting swat though?
Yeah,
with Corvald holding onto the frame and just going flap.
Yeah.
Love of my life.
It's so good.
Love him.
He's just holding the frame up. I love it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It is so good. Yeah, there are a lot of hits here. Angelo, what's your favorite?
The two in terms of showcase that stick out to me, I've already mentioned. The Kaikar and the Macias are the two that I'm going to remember and probably going to get. In terms of brand new art, stop me if you could have imagined this. Battle at the Hell Vault, seeing the first ever Innistrad based saga is really interesting, because something that I've wondered is like, what kind of stories would you depict for Innistrad? And Avacyn and Grizzlebrand's fight in the original Innistrad block was a perfect one to show, and doing it in church stained glass kind of framing is just perfect. And I think that's just excellent.
How about the Avacyn token?
Yeah, put that up there. That token's stunning.
Token is
100% the best.
Angelo, I'll give you the battle. I don't know if I can give you the token, man. I'm sorry.
I'll give you something, because I need that. I need it.
It is gorgeous.
That token is Unbelievable.
And seeing a saga from quote unquote recent block or a modern block gives me hope that we're going to see sagas from other planes and settings as well. Like imagine the sagas that come off of Ravnica, right?
Yeah.
Imagine the point where we get to where War of the Spark is continued to be depicted, or the fallout of the Phyrexian invasion is continued to be depicted in these sagas as well. We can be 10, 15 years removed from it, and we're now getting sagas depicting something that lore that we experienced as these sets were released. I think that that's really interesting to see too. Real good potential.
Yeah.
Right. And Chase, your favorite art from the set. Last question before we announce our winners and wrap up.
Yeah, I'm gonna rapid fire this. I'm obsessed with what you said. I've been saying this for years, and I mean it. I've been saying this for years. More pinks and magic cards, please. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. So, for example, I love how saturated everything is in the set. That Zakama profile art, drop dead gorgeous. It's stunning. It's perfect. I have 0 notes. Azusa, the new Azusa, the profile Azusa. I have never seen something so beautifully like delicate and like elegant. I would rather play the art card than I would play that card, because I've seen the art card. It's stunning. It's beautiful. It's just perfect. I'm obsessed with it. Agree with Angelo. The Manacurves, I think, is one of the top profile ones. I think it's perfect. I'm obsessed with that one too. One that I think is really cool is that the full art Path to Exile by Ron Spears. Oh my goodness. I saw it and I was like, I'm obsessed. It's perfect. It's a beautiful piece. Another one that I'm obsessed with, the full art finale of Devastation. I saw that and I was like, it's vibrant, it's bright, it's dinosaurs literally crashing over, like the Triceratops is putting his little leg over the text box, kind of like Shivam said. It's just really dynamic and really beautifully done. And my last favorite one is one that I didn't expect to pull me in as much as it did. It's my favorite out of all of the lands. The full art spectator seating. It is so beautiful, so bright. It looks like a party. It looks gorgeous. I just look at that and I feel like joy, which is a weird thing to say, but like I deck build with joy, and if it sparks joy, I deck build it. I look at that, I'm like, I want that in all my Boros decks. I think it's beautiful. I would pay the extra money for it. And as a little bonus, my least favorite art from this set is the profile Morophon. That's holy shit. That thing is creepy.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I love this so much. It gives me such like Axe from the Animorphs type like vibe, and it's so funny and weird. I love the little birds.
It's so gross. I hate that card so much.
Sleep paralysis demon. That is at the foot of my bed. That is at the foot of my bed.
More pink and magic.
Exactly.
This is the
Except
price
that.
you have to pay. More
This is the one exception to what I just said. I don't want it. Get it away from me. Why does it look like that? He looks like that one meme where the guy is going. Like that.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Excellent. All right. Well, we are going to give everybody an opportunity to once again tell us where we can find you. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I want to thank the fantastic audience for raising $420. Nice. Just Blaze. Thank you, everybody. We're going to again let everybody tell us where they can find you before we announce our winners and send us packing on our raid. So Clay, why don't we start with you? Who are we? Where can we find you? And thank you for coming out once again.
We are Claybee, part of the C&C Power Hour, the hosts of obviously like the channel. And you can find me anywhere that you can search Claybee. I will probably be there. And yeah, thank you to everybody in chat, everybody who donated, and the other guests. This isn't possible without any of you. And thank you to Chris and Andy behind the scenes as well for making sure that this all works and works as smoothly as it does.
Absolutely could not do it without our support team. Thank you. Shivam, thank you for joining us for the first time, hopefully the first of many coming up soon. But please let us know who you are and where can we find you.
Hi, I'm Shivam. I'm the host of a podcast called Casual Magic. I'm the host of a podcast called Shivam and Wheeler Love Magic. I'm the host of a podcast called Chronicle of Dragonlance. You can find me on Twitter at Gears. You can find me basically everywhere you want to or don't want to. I am ubiquitous. Everybody knows who I am. Everybody knows what I does. Every day you find me posting Scryfall randoms and just talking about cards I love, because Magic is a game that we should enjoy and that we should talk about enjoying. It's easy to talk about hating this game all the time, but we do this for fun. We love this stuff. Revel in it, celebrate it, enjoy it. Yeah, there's bad things about it, but remember why we're here. And that's all I want. I want people to be happy playing this stupid game. Otherwise, there's other games you could be playing. But thank you all to inviting me, and I really appreciate it. It was a great time, and I had a great chat, and I will talk to all of you next time.
Fantastic. Angelo, thank you for joining us once again. Always appreciate you coming out, even if we do bully you a little bit.
I can take it.
But please let us know who you are and where we can find you.
Well, my mom says I have a very bullyable face, so But hi, I'm Angelo. Or well, goodbye. I'm Angelo. You can find me on Twitter at the Jess Guy. You can find me on EDA Trek doing set reviews and things like that. And if you want to hear from me more, don't worry about that. Come into the EDA Trekcast Discord. I'm a moderator there, and we have a great time all the time. Thank you for having me, and thank everyone for donating to such a great cause.
Amazing. Thank
also,
you.
those
Thank
cards with our faces on them are amazing.
That's all Andy. Andy is a wizard when it comes to this promo stuff, including this interface and overlay. Again, big thanks to our support team, Chris and Andy, who make these roundtables happen. Lastly, but not leastly, Chase, please let us know who you are and where we can find you.
Hi, yes. My mom also told me that Angelo has a bullyable face. So it's so interesting that you bring that up. Y'all, if you don't know who I am, my name is Chase, also known as Manacurves. I am a Commander content creator. I stream Paper Commander, gameplay, and deck building on my Twitch channel. Tuesdays, deck building, 7 p.m. Eastern, deck building. Thursdays, Sundays, 6 p.m. Eastern. I write articles for Star City Games. I have a podcast with EK Plays Cards called Bad at Magic. And I love talking about Magic, and I really appreciate y'all letting me back in here. I know that I was on probation, but it's really good to come back and share my opinions.
Double secret probation.
And remind us why you were on probation in the first place.
We can talk about that once we are off air.
All right, amazing. And the winners for this round table, congratulations to the Real Gun Jack for winning the Infinitokens prize pack. Thank you for your generous donations. The winner of the first Commander Masters Precon is Mishotem, stalwart of the community and of these roundtables. Congratulations. And the winner of the second Precon, because we did reach our second goal, is Baron Pardee. Congratulations, and once again, thank you for supporting this incredible cause, the Trevor Project. Every dollar of these donations is going to go to them. Thank you all so much. Do stick around. We are going to be rating filthy MTG casuals who are playing some Commander right now. Do hang around and do send your love over to them. And as always, folks, I've been Chris. I am your Commander mechanic. As always, good luck and have fun.